Good morning and welcome back to This Week in Dioramas. I am your host, TechChucker. If you aren't familiar with how this show operates, every week I go through Instagram looking for the coolest looking dioramas and I showcase them right here on the show. If you would like to be showcased in a future episode, all you need to do is upload your diorama pictures to Instagram and tag them with the hashtag This Week in Dioramas. We've got an awesome showcase for you lined up this week. Like a really good one. I had to trim out to make sure that I was just at the 15 dioramas, and I had to trim out some really good ones. So I threw those into what might make next week's show as well. It was a really strong week on Instagram for dios. I'm going to do something a little bit different than I normally do. I'm not going to have my little picture-in-picture of me during the showcase. Just want to see what you guys think. So keep that in the back of your mind. Do you prefer having me in there or not having me in there? I can go either way, but I'm also kind of under the gun. I don't have a lot of time to get this episode done, so kind of helping me to speed up the editing process. So with that in mind, we are going to get into the showcase. So let's jump right on into it. All right, we are jumping into the showcase, starting off with our friend Vasco Toys. If you aren't familiar with him, make sure you familiarize yourself with this guy. He is a friend of the show. He's also one of the other moderators on the Diorama HQ Facebook group. So I invite all of you to go join that group. I'll leave a link in the description below. It is growing very, very fast. I'm very happy with how that's been going, but there's something missing, and that's you. So make sure you go to the Facebook group 8 Diorama HQ, join it, and then start sharing some of your work, some of your knowledge, whatever that might be. But let's get right into this showcase. Vasco Toys, he sells or makes a lot and sells a lot of his dioramas. So if you happen to be in the market for a new diorama, maybe you can go check out his Instagram and then see if he can make you something that you'd like. Something like this, which is really cool. This is definitely something that everybody needs to make a couple of. And that is kind of I don't want to say basic, but yeah, kind of a basic base type of diorama with rocks or some sort of terrain. You need to make some terrain. Even if it's just for practice, that's always something that is going to help you with your skill to be able to start increasing your ability with your rocks. And you'll find that it's far easier than you expected. This piece looks awesome, and I love the picture that you took, or the pictures with that white backdrop. It really makes this piece pop and stand out. I am really digging on the rocks that you've got. Everything is rocks, but I'm really digging on the paint apps that you've got on here. There's different little variations and nuances of paint colors, which are really standing out to make this look very natural. And then you threw in the little rubble of rocks, which is something you're definitely going to see in a rocky terrain. That's something that I definitely enjoy. And then another piece, just overall, the overall aesthetic of the fact that there's not really square edges. There's not really round edges. It is as though you picked up a scene from somewhere and just plopped it down onto the table. And I really like that. I love the fact that we've got this path going through some sort of rock formation. We don't know where it's going to go, but this is going to be a great display for Dragon Ball Z or any kind of figures. Maybe it's, oh geez, I was literally going to go to Mythic Legions or any of those, Star Wars. This is awesome. But now with this picture, we can really see some of that detail work with the paint, which is so awesome. I'm really digging on it. So great job on this piece. Again, like I said, he's a friend of the show and I think a friend of mine. Make sure that you check out his Instagram, give him a like. Do that for all of the artists, especially the ones that you are really enjoying throughout the show. I know that everybody is going to appreciate getting a little bit of traffic on their Instagram, and if I can help a little bit, all the better. So we're going to continue on. I am going to try and do this without having to do any edits because I'm really coming down to the very wire on this episode to get it out for Saturday morning. This piece is awesome. This is coming from Dwayne's, what is it? Okay, Dwayne Shoots Toys. And Okay, let's just read through this. Miles Morales goes sneaker shopping. Should he buy a new pair of Jordans? Finally got my hands on a Miles Morales action figure a few weeks ago, so I decided to build a diorama for it. This backdrop is primarily made out of foam board and paper, and there are 100 plus individual shoe boxes on the shelves. That is intense. That's a lot to have to make all of those boxes, and they look so legit. This is just so cool. I love the cleanliness of this. There is a wide shot that we're going to look at here in just a moment that is just super amazing. I just recently got this Hot Toys figure as well, and I have to say, if you love the Into the Spider-Verse movie and you've got the scratch available to be able to pick this guy up, I really recommend that you get this figure. It is such a beautiful figure. It's so well crafted. If you didn't already see the review that I did, go check out the review. I'll leave a link or whatever so that you can check out my review. I'm not a Hot Toys reviewer. This is just my second Hot Toys figure ever, and it's amazing. My review maybe isn't the most amazing, but it's a great figure. I highly recommend it. This diorama though is just absolutely stunning to go along with this figure. Now let's go to this next picture. Look at this. How insane is this? This literally looks like a Foot Locker. Wow, I'm just so impressed with this. It's so cool. Look at the detail. And all of these shoes, I'm really intrigued where all of these tennis shoes came from. If these are customized or I don't know, where can you get them? Looks like he's customizing these shoes because here is the original blah, but it was, you know, still looks nice. And then here is with the upgrades. Threw in the swoosh, put in a little bit of white around here, just added to it to make it look that much better. So I would really love to know where all these shoes came from. Looks like we've got some printouts of some sort. Not sure if you bought these or printed them. Let's see, the other miniature sneakers. Oh, other miniature sneakers are available from Kicks Mini Official. So there's the answer. I just needed to keep reading. This is a really cool looking piece. And whether you designed the boxes, just printed them, bought it, and then put them together, the fact that you had to construct all of these boxes, put them together and all of that takes a lot of time. And then the ability to see and put together a diorama like this to then make a great shot like that, I love it. I love it. Absolutely love it. All right, next, coming from Lionheart Dioramas, this is a 1/12 scale battle scene. And this is an absolutely epic, beautiful piece. I'm really digging the way that this turned out. The walls look amazing. Look at the destruction throughout the walls and the weathering with the different mosses and rust on the car. And then the plant life. This is obviously an overgrown war zone area that's just been abandoned, not taken care of in any way, shape, or form, and it looks so good. We've got lighting, we got an old American flag that's been sitting here for a while, collecting dust, but it's still up. I'm just really impressed with this. This is just an absolutely insane looking piece. Look at this. We've got the concrete or the pavement is pushed up. Something big happened here. And then I actually have another picture from his profile, if my computer will. There we go. Now it's going. Here is a full-on wide shot of this, and this is crazy. This is absolutely insane. There's so much going on. We've got some broken out buildings. You can see a little bit of the interiors of those. We've got some sort of rebar that's poking out from the floor here, and then this building over here is all damaged, looking a little different from this. Actually, it's very different from this one. I'm just, wow, this is absolutely stunning work. So great job to Lionheart Dioramas. If you're not already following them, make sure that you do. All right, see if my computer is just not treating me right. This next one coming from Ibrahim M. Art. And let's see, Ibrahim Mustafa. This is a Ghostbusters, a few more shots of my 1/12 scale Ghostbusters firehouse diorama, all handmade with insulation foam, balsa wood, craft store, etc., etc. I've been having a lot of fun making dioramas for my figures for a few years now, and I wanted to shout out Al Figures, whose YouTube channel is where I learned the basics of how to make these. Yes, pretty much everybody has had some sort of interaction with Al Figures YouTube or him on Facebook, in the Diostructure group or whatever. He is, I still call him the godfather of dioramas. I just think that he's kind of the OG when it comes to that with action figure dios. And so I completely understand and would also say the same thing about him, that he kind of is one of the catalysts that got me really into digging into this further. Lots of you guys now have YouTube channels. Vasco Toys has a YouTube channel. El Chambo, Euler's Workshop. Forgive me if I'm missing Drip Mode with Driporama. There's tons of you that have YouTube channels. So that Facebook group, the Diorama HQ, is also a great place that you can share your diorama YouTube channels, as long as it's relevant to dioramas. If you're just doing action figure reviews or whatever, that's not the place for it. But if you focus on dioramas, by all means, share a couple of your videos in that group. But let's get back to the diorama so that I don't have to go back in and edit out all the crap that I just talked about. So we've got a wall here, facade with the sidewalk up front. The door is just really impressive. I am digging this door. It looks so nice. And then we can see the Ghostbusters sign. That chain looks really realistic. So my question for that is, did you use a real chain from like a necklace or something, paint it up? Where'd that come from? Where did the sign come from? Did you hand make that, 3D print it, buy it from somewhere? This is just really looking great. I said that weird. The words or the letters here, they definitely are raised. So those look like they were either 3D printed because they're very perfect, or some sort of letters that you could buy at Hobby Lobby. Loving the star here, or the different star accents at the top. This is just all coming together to look very impressive. Really digging on the attention to detail, especially with these little accent loopy things in the trim. That also just looks awesome. So great job on a really solid looking piece. Okay, next. Yep, we're not editing that out. Next, coming from Stop Moshindo. I'm super jealous of this guy. This was a project that I was hoping to make myself. I haven't been able to find a car body that would work for it. So if you're not familiar, these are the Neutrinos, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon NECA version. I've got the set, and as soon as I ordered the set, I wanted to make this exact vehicle. So if you're not familiar with the show, the Neutrinos flew around in what looked like classic car style vehicles, but they could fly, so they didn't have any real need for wheels. You found the perfect base for this car. And then I followed a little bit of their posts so that I could see what they were doing with the original. The paint apps look so nice. I love the way that this looked with the blue. I think they had two cars. I think there was a blue one and maybe a pink one. And dang it, this just looks so good. You beat me to the punch on it. I'm so jealous, but I'm on the lookout for a car this size in 1/12 scale, which is hard to find a 1/12 scale car that's going to fit these figures. But I am on the lookout for this basic exact car base. So if you find one, send me a note, DM me, anybody. And because this is something I have to make, because otherwise right now my Neutrinos are just sitting on my table and they're collecting dust, they're falling over. I need something to display them, and this is perfect. Look at the details. I mean, you paint it in, there's a little bit of darkness in the edges or the cracks in these seams. This stripe is so nice and cleanly done. I love the color tone. It really matches the kind of flat matte color that NECA is using with their cartoon figures. So it really looks like this was manufactured along with the figures. And the fact that they fit in here so perfectly, I'm just really impressed. And then take a look at the rest of the dioramas around this thing. That also is just super impressive. So kudos to you on finding the car and then executing this so incredibly well. Next, coming from Mr. Spriken, had some time in between projects to build this dio. My very first castle medieval type thing. Perfect for Escanor. I don't know what Escanor is. These take a lot less time to build than my usual dios. This looks really good. I really dig your stonework. You did a great job with the paint apps on there, and I really love the texture that you've got going throughout these stones, with some of them are poking out, and that just really adds to the feel of this. Now we come in and look at the doorways and the actual doors, and holy crap, this is just a really solid piece. You did a great job on it. It's gonna look, I don't know what Escanor is, but these are gonna look perfect with Mythic Legions figures, or heck, even Dragon Ball Z, or Masters of the Universe. G.I. Joe would even look good in here. Pretty much anything was going to look good in here. The paint apps are again, I go back and it looks awesome. And now look at this, you added in a red carpet going between, and the regalness of this. Now I'm expecting to see royalty come through and be presented here. We all know that Queen Elizabeth II just passed away. Being from the United States, I'm not exactly a big fan of a monarchy. That's one of the things that we got away from, but still can recognize the impact that she had for her 70-year rule or reign, or whatever you want to call it. So this reminds me of her since it just happened. And how amazing was it? Did you guys see that the double rainbow that came over Buckingham Palace the day, it would be what, yesterday now, so I'm recording this Friday, that double rainbow, that feels like a sign of like something. Anyway, off topic, completely not relevant to this, but you know, current events. Anyway, back to the dio. There's not a lot more that I can say about it. You just did a great job. So this is apparently Escanor. I don't know who that is. Somebody tell me, what is that? I've never seen it. Never heard of it. But this is a great looking diorama. Awesome job. Let's see if my computer is gonna work with me. It is. Ancient Island is the next one. So Ancient Island Designs, their work is always so intricate and so detailed, and yet so very small. So something's brewing in the belly of the ancient temple. Again, the scenery work that you do in here is just so incredible. Now I'm wondering if this is ancient. It looks like, is this a train track? I don't think they had trains back in ancient wherever this is, but I could be making some assumptions. So we'll just get past it. This looks amazing. It just has so much detail with the paint apps on the rocks. They really look like legit rocks. This tree looks awesome with the foliage, and then this little mound of grass that is growing on top of this, that also just looks so realistic. I'm so impressed with the work that you guys do. Every time it's so incredible. So awesome job on this piece. I'm not really familiar with what this is technically depicting, but it's some sort of either ruin or home or whatever, and it looks awesome. Had to take a quick sip of coffee. We're not cutting it out. This one's coming from, let's see, J Bohr Graphics. And let's see, Hail Hydra, D12 size, 1/12 scale, display base, 15 by 13 and a quarter by 14 and a half, magnetically attached wall for storage, all foam construction, paper throne, drapery, etc. So if you are new to dioramas, and I like to focus on new diorama creators, but the show is obviously for everyone. But new diorama creators, when you're creating your pieces, always be thinking about, well, what if I need to put this into storage? And that's where magnetizing your walls so that they can snap on and snap off is so incredibly useful. I did a video on how to deal with some of the magnet stuff. It's really quite easy, but there are some very specific magnets that you want to get. I'll post a link in the description below if you're interested on ordering some that I use from Amazon. Main thing is you want the ceramic ones. Ceramic ones are going to be the strongest and the best ones to work with. So I'll leave a link in the description below that you can order some if you are interested. This piece looks awesome. Now, there's not a lot to color variation, which is completely fine. Sometimes that's exactly what you want because it's going to help your action figures to pop in front of them, and that's what this is doing. What I really like is the fact that you've got different layers or levels so that you can display these figures and they're not all going to be lost. If you were to put a few more on here, they're not necessarily going to be lost in the mix. Now, with a diorama display, you don't want to display them just completely jam-packed full with figures. Otherwise, it's still going to just look like a shelf where you threw 1,000 figures on there. But having these steps, number one, it works with a throne room, which is what this is, but it also allows you to have a little more cohesion to the display by showing multiple figures, and the ones in back aren't going to be hidden too much. So this Hydra symbol looks as though you may have sculpted that in. If you did, kudos to you. That is really impressive looking. You did a great job on it. Really digging on the way that this throne looks, especially with the drape or the fabric that you put on. I don't think it's real fabric, but it looks really good. I think you did a great job. We've got some torch stands here. It would be really cool if you were able to make those light up. I know we all have to take steps that we're able to do as of right now, but they do have a bit of a glow to them already, even with just the paint, which is pretty darn cool. So great job on this piece. I hope we will see even more from you because you're really impressing me with this piece. Okay, next, coming from Captain Bravo, Light Up Pikachu Diorama. So you guys know I have ventured into Pokemon phase of my life now. A couple of years ago, I started jotting down all of the different hobbies that I have taken on that I've actually sunk money into. And at the time, it was like 40 some different hobbies or interests that I've taken on and put money into. I have a bit of a short attention span when it comes to hobbies, which is why I'm surprised I'm still doing action figures and dioramas as much as I do, which granted, the dioramas I haven't built that much, though I am almost finished with one. But now we're into the Pokemon phase, and now I'm on the hunt for some different decks. So if you guys happen to find the two decks that I'm going to put up here, it's like Torrential Cannon, but it's a little bit more advanced deck. And then the, I forget what the other one's called, but it's the one with Charmander and blah, blah, blah. If you find them at retail price, DM me because I'm very interested. My son and I have been looking for them and we want to play. But this caught my attention not only because it's Pokemon, but because of the resin, the lights, all of that. And it's so unique. I've not seen something quite like this. I have seen the resin dio pieces where it's kind of a square piece. I've not seen one where it's a pyramid, and I just really am digging this a lot. So we've got Pikachu in here, and we've got these little LED lights to make that effect, which is really just super cool. I really want to get into trying some of these resin pours. It makes me very nervous because you can do all this great work if you're gonna do a resin pour on a diorama, because you have to create the diorama and then pour it. And there's a lot of risk that is not gonna turn out. I think this turned out really cool. I think it's gonna be a great display showcase for somewhere in your house when guests come over and they're gonna be like, oh wow, that's really cool. You turn the lights down and just let this illuminate itself. And dang, that's going to be so cool. Okay, next, coming from the Shadow Gallery 718 out of Brooklyn, New York. This is Feed Me Seymour. It's been a while. Try to find time to get back into my diorama groove. Latest diorama for Little Shop of Horrors. So I'm going to be that guy that's going to honestly say I've never seen Little Shop of Horrors. I don't know what it's about. All I know is I recognize this little plant guy. I don't know anything else. So, you know, ridicule me if you need to. But this looks awesome. I love the brickwork that you got here. It's very clean and kind of pristine feeling. And then we've got this great like trim accents that are going around the window. We've got the actual window, and then inside is a nice blue glow to illuminate what's inside here. And we've got the flowers with this flower guy, whatever he is. Sign looks awesome on the actual glass. We've got a dead end sign over here, a little lamp. This is just really impressive looking. I really dig it. It's so well done with great detail work throughout to give us that authentic feel of kind of a you know, street flower shop. I don't know if this is a replica of what's in the movie or whatever, or I just like it for what it is, and it's a great diorama. So awesome job. Okay, next, coming from Euler's Workshop, who we have mentioned once or twice already. He did this diorama, and we showcased a wall from it last week, and I'm just so incredibly impressed with what the complete piece wound up being. It is absolutely a stunning piece. I try not to use words like stunning too often, except when it really warrants it. And I really feel as though this full on warrants being called stunning, because just look at the paint apps. It's so impressive. It looks so realistic. I don't even know how to like showcase something like this without just taking a full-on hour just to talk about how amazing this piece happens to be. So this it went to, oh my gosh, who did it go to? I'm pretty sure it went to, is it Unparalleled Universe? I think that's who got it. Let's see, do we have a link or anybody? I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's who it went to, because I saw, God, I'm gonna be wrong. I might be wrong, but it's one of the reviewers that I watch quite a bit, and I watch Unparalleled Universe quite a bit. I'm just, dang it, this is so freaking good. Look at those ramps. Looks like real, actual plywood. Freaking A, dang, this guy is so talented. If you're not following Euler's Workshop on Instagram and subscribe to his YouTube channel, I mean, what are you doing? That's just insane. You need to be following him. He's such a talent. Okay, next, coming from Debbie. Okay, let's hover over. So Debbie Debbie Mostum. I'm not sure if I got your name right. I know I got Debbie right. This is such a cool piece. So we've got this huge resin water scene. And obviously it's a Star Wars. Let's see. Star Wars props and dioramas with the amazing... I enjoyed making these Star Wars props. The diorama builder. So make sure that they get credit as well for some of this work. Like this huge 3D Star Wars The Force Awakens diorama. The X-Wings fly over the water for the Battle of we're keeping that. Whatever this place is, I can't say it. The waves are made of multiple pre-colored layers of epoxy. So it's epoxy, not resin. Then I painted some details on it. The X-Wings are weathered a bit to match the scene. You can display this diorama on the wall. That's kind of cool. Painted a statue of Mando and the throne of Jabba. So there's a couple of different projects, but this is, let's just look at how cool this is. So we've got the waves coming from the jets that are actually, affecting the water as they fly over. This is just so cool. I would love to see what this looks like hung up on a wall. Here she is. She's doing a little bit of, looks like paint work on this. Dang it, this is just so impressive. And then she also had another post where she showed I think it's a before and after of some Stormtrooper helmets. Wow, this is so cool. I wonder if this actually fits on your head. It probably does. A lot of those people are able to buy those or 3D print them. But it just would look awesome on a shelf. The weathering on this is so incredible. Just wow. And then we've got the throne room for Boba Fett. Dang it. This is so cool. It's just so impressive. Look at this. Dang it. Why do you guys have so much talent? This is insane. I absolutely love it. So fun. This is why I love doing this show. I can see work that I probably would never even come close to getting right. And you guys are executing things so incredibly well. So great job on a couple of really impressive pieces. This is our last one of the episode. This is coming from Celebrimbor Forge. Let's see. Not sure. So this is a blah, 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 Saruman. I can't read it because I don't know what it... Oh, C translation. That's new for the desktop version. A color test for Saruman Dio that had not been retained. But who alone was... Okay, I don't think that's a very good translation is my guess. This piece looks amazing. So we've showcased some of their work in the past and it's always so well done. I'm just really impressed with the architecture design of this. So look at the arch over the window and then we've got a bit of a little bit of a window, but it's cut off. I've talked about that before. When you're presenting a diorama or you're designing it, you don't have to do the entire room. Sometimes you can just do part of the room and just cut it off and it's going to look super cool and it's going to focus the viewer on exactly what you want them to look at. But I'm really intrigued by this. I'm wondering what these little orb-like things are that are poking out. I'm just really impressed with it. So great job on this piece. Thank you to everybody who participated this week. It was a really impressive set of dioramas for sure. Alrighty, there you have it, folks. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, the bell notification, all that jazz. And then hop on over to Facebook and join the Diorama HQ group. It is a growing group. We're at about 2,700 members and it keeps going up every single day. People are sharing their work. They're sharing some knowledge and what have you. So you want to get in on that as well. So make sure you join the Diorama HQ. Go to Instagram as well and follow the hashtag this week in dioramas. And hopefully you can post up some of your own work using the hashtag and maybe we will see you in a future episode. Speaking of future episodes, I have got to get going. So I will see you in the next episode, which should be next weekend as long as I have time. Have a good one, everybody.